to go somewhere. I'm fading in the air. Can't find myself down there. I need to go somewhere to run away. 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 How to fly? You are mine. All the questions in my mind. How to cry? You and all the questions in my mind. Oh, how to wanna go somewhere, someplace not on earth. Can't find myself down there. Need to fly like the birds. To run away. 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 How to fly? You are mine. All the questions in my mind. How to cry? You and all the questions in my mind. Oh, how to fly? The heavens are telling us, the sky is showing us. One day pulls out the story to another day. One night tells the next what it knows. Nobody hears their voice, yet what they say goes. Nobody hears their voice, yet what they say goes. I can feel the heat, I can feel the heat. It makes me feel alive again. I can feel the heat, I can feel the heat. My eyes are open wide again. The mountains they speak to us, the colors that cover us. The sun rises in light of my mistakes, follows its course to the other end. Nobody hears their voice, yet what they say goes. Nobody hears their voice, yet what they say goes. I can feel the heat, I can feel the heat. feel the heat. I can 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 feel the heat.